What's up, y'all? I haven't gone live in the garden in a while, so I just wanted to kind of walk through real quick and show y'all what I got going on. Some stuff look rough, some stuff look good, some stuff has died and I've already pulled out. Some stuff I've replanted and it's sprouting up. So I just wanted to kind of give you a tour. I know some people like to kind of watch the progress, and I haven't been feeling good lately, and I feel kind of good today, so I just wanted to kind of walk through. Y'all come on with me. Alright, so I'm working on a cottage garden. So I'm doing the rocks. Next year, this greenhouse won't be here. This will be all garden bed here. And I'm going to fill it with perennials, annuals. In the fall, I've been watching the garden this year. In the fall time, when the sun is straight up right now, this bed gets a lot of sun. So I know to plant this bed more with sun-loving stuff in the fall. Also, I had tomatoes here. I pulled and squash. I pulled those, and the big sunflowers that I need to pull out. But what I just did with the sunflowers was I just planted some pole beans around the bottoms of the sunflowers. So I'm going to train the pole beans to kind of grow up the sunflowers, so that way I can use the sunflowers as a trellis. Right here, I got some cucumber that I planted about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm going to train them up into that little dollar store, little garden, little fence, and it's going to grow up the fence. And we don't really eat a whole lot of cucumbers. My husband loves them, and I'm going to use them for skincare. And yeah, so I know this looks dead. I'm going to cut off the dead, but this is a perennial. A perennial is a plant that grows back every year. This is echinacea. So I went ahead and put it in the bed, and I kind of am planning for kind of next year stuff where I place the perennial. So I placed the echinacea right smack in the middle of that bed so that it can kind of be the center point for next year's garden. So I put some salvia here down on the end, and there's actually some delphinium in the back that I cut down, which is another perennial, which is in that corner and that corner. So I got some strawberries, and they bloom red, cabbage, lamb's ear, lamium, whatever you want to call it. These are perennial. I'm going to, as you can see, this was one plant when I planted it, and as you can see, it has several different heads on it, and I'm going to separate that and put some of that down in the cottage garden when I fill all that in. So this has hollyhock, and hollyhock is a perennial. It will grow back next year, so it starts off like this year it looks like this, and next year it'll be like a tall stalk with flower blooms on it. Don't know what color it'll be. It'll be a surprise. So this bed was like my trial bed this year, and I realized that this bed doesn't get a lot of sun, so I won't be planting like sun loving stuff here next year. I'll be planting like some annual shade stuff in this bed. This bed I planted some broccoli. Thank you. I got some collard greens here. I got some broccoli here, and I wanted to kind of mix the bed up. I didn't want to just kind of plant all of the same thing. I got some more cucumber here that I'm going to trellis up this fence. Some sweet potatoes that has worked its way to the top of this fence. I need to train it over so it can keep filling up this whole fence. These are some bush beans. So I plan on trying to can for the first time this year and can some beans. So I've been planting beans in succession, which is basically I plant a little bit this week, wait 2 or 3 weeks, I plant a few more. This is a delphinium. This is a dahlia. Very, very pretty. Also here on this side, I planted some cucumber. I planted a lot of cucumber because it didn't do good for me in the spring, so I planted extra for the fall so that it could, if I lost some, I would still have some. This was my first tomato plant that I planted this year from seed, and it made it through when we had that winter storm and cold. As you can see, it's taller than me. I had to pull the other one that was here because it kept getting washed away by water. I learned a lot of things this year. Anybody know what this is? I thought it was okra, but those bean pods were yellow, and then I don't know if it was supposed to be yellow or what. So if somebody knows what this is, please let me know. So this was a tomato also, but as you can see, I cut it off here, and this is a new growth that's growing on it, so I'm gonna let it grow. Fresh basil. I'm going to make some spaghetti sauce, and I'm gonna come out here and get the basil. This basil is pretty tall. It smells so good. It's another basil there. This watermelon, I just noticed that it's trying to produce another watermelon, and I thought it was going bye-bye. That's there is pumpkin, and then I planted more cucumbers to kind of grow up the middle of this garden bed in that trellis. That's lemon balm. This is from last year. I planted and it got like this tall. It was like this tall, and I'll harvest all of that off the top, and I'm drying that. Here's some more pumpkin. This tomato is going out, but I'm gonna let it keep going until these ripen. So I made a mistake. I'm still learning. Watching videos and all of that, I'm still learning. So I put landscape fabric underneath like half of this bed. So like you can see where it stops here. Okay, so all of that over there, none of that doesn't have landscape fabric. That has compost, and that has topsoil, garden soil, and the soil that came from the, natural, from the yard. And here is landscape fabric. Now, don't mind these plants. They're kind of wilty because it's hot. And I did water, so you can see that it's moist. So I pulled the landscape fabric from underneath these before I planted them. So you can see the landscape fabric is pulled back. I'm working on everywhere I plant, pull the landscape fabric from underneath it so that I can work on getting the landscape fabric out. Some more string beans that I planted, pole beans. I think these are Kentucky Wonder pole beans. Nordstrom, those flowers that start with an N, I can't say it. I'm gonna pull everything from this area here, cause but pull everything from here, pull up the landscape fabric, and start over. Probably plant some flowers there next year or something. Okay, so that's my elephant ear, and I kind of put this trellis here, and there's more string beans on that trellis. I need to actually harvest string beans on this trellis, and I kind of planted some pretty perennial stuff that'll pop up right here in the front of this bed. Some lavender and some pretty perennial stuff. I'm working on that area. So I got this grass. I rehabbed this grass last year, and it's tasseling. So I'm going to harvest all the tassels off and use it as house decoration. So this is another lavender plant. I'm gonna take it out of the pot and probably put it in that bed over there. or in that bed over here where all the rest of the herbs are. Here's another lavender that I cut all the way back, and oh my God, it smells so good. I cleaned out my fountain. More string beans. I told y'all I'm trying to can. So more string beans. I know this stuff looks kind of rough, but I left them here. Snapdragons, because there's focus. Okay, there's seeds in here, and I want it to reseed itself in this bed. And I'm also going to let them just keep drying out, reseed, and then I'm going to pull these plants and plant some more snapdragons. So next year it will come up fresh and be a nice big plant, and then the seeds will come up as well. It's another grass. It's really time to pull all of this stuff, especially everything that's kind of annual, because it's like it's over for it. And cut back everything that's perennial. This area is still looking pretty. Impatiens, coleus. I'm rehabbing this hydrangea. It got choked out in that area here by that vine. You see the vine that's growing up, the ivy? It got choked out over there. So I put it back in a pot and I'm rehabbing it here. Working on this area around this tree. See, I got more grass here. Lantana is in this pot, and some salvia, which is hummingbird attractors. Big coleus here. Impatiens, more coleus. I'm gonna pull, it's a rose bush here. I'm gonna pull that rose bush and replant it, rehab that. Fern. More coleus. These look beautiful. Red. This one is huge. Alright, so these beds are a hot mess. I plan on cleaning out this bed and filling it up with some fresh soil, and then covering it and leaving it fresh for the spring, because in the first thing in the spring, this bed gets a lot of sun. So I'm going to clear this out. There's a tomato. And this bed is a strawberry bed. The strawberries have fizzled out for the year, so I just kind of let it go. And then I just cut everything all the way back at the end of the season. In this bed, I'm going to plant some fall crops. I had some cabbage here, some blueberry bush there, another one here. I'm actually going to dig this blueberry and dig that blueberry and put them in some pots and put them up on the hill, because you can see this area doesn't get a lot of sun. Last year I dug these up from by the little stream that we have in the backyard, and I planted these, and I guess they love it. I put them inside the tire. And then this is another shady bed. Coleus, impatiens, grass, heuchera. It's another one there. Fern, ostrich fern there. There. Some mint that is flowering and smells amazing. A hydrangea that didn't bloom this year. Hopefully next year. So the limbs that fall in the yard, I'm starting to collect them so that I can make a garden arch out of the limbs. And yeah. So this is my hot mess of a garden. Wild things growing wild. This dahlia's gonna bloom. This one kind of fizzling out, but that's how it looked. That pretty purple. Some lantanas that I just planted. So yeah. So yeah, that's the garden. I hope y'all having a happy Saturday. I'm gonna go give my daughter a nap since it sounds like she's finished eating. Y'all have a good day.